Welcome to the Midwest Motogirl podcast, where we'll dive into all aspects of building a badass life around motorcycles, mindset, and overall female betterment. Get ready to explore how your mindset can make or break your experience and enjoyment in the male-dominated world of motorcycles. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Sydney Gard. You can find me on Instagram at midwest.motogirl or on Facebook at Sydney Gard Racing. So welcome to the first episode of the Midwest Motogirl podcast. I wanted to take some time today to let you guys know me and understand who I am and my background, and then also give you guys an introduction to the podcast and kind of bring together how we're going to tie motorcycles and health and wellness all together, because most people would think that those are two very different topics, and they are. But they're very, very relatable. As we get into this episode and future episodes, I think it'll become really clear on how they're relatable and how helpful they are when you look at them hand in hand. First off, just a little bit about me. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast. I'm kind of a health and wellness junkie. I'm an engineer by trade. And I like to fix and solve problems. I always want to help other people. I grew up in a motorcycle dealership. My family opened a Triumph dealership. When I was about 8 years old, my grandparents owned it. My dad worked in the shop. My aunt and uncle got involved with parts and service and sales at some point in time. My grandma did the books, and they had that dealership for about 15 years. And throughout those years, I spent a lot of time there. I learned a lot about motorcycles and ended up helping out in the shop. And it started out as me helping out was me holding a flashlight for my dad. And then it kind of morphed into the tool kid where he was working on motorcycles in service. And he was saying, get me this size wrench, or get me that screwdriver, or that socket, or go get me the computer for the diagnostic tool. You guys get the idea. And I don't know if my dad realized it at the time when I was fetching tools for him, but I was paying a lot of attention and kind of watching him do. And as I was watching him work on these motorcycles, it was slowly clicking with me on how everything works. And I was learning how to do it just by watching him, which looking back is a really, really cool thing to be able to do and to experience, especially when you're younger. And when I was about 12, I remember telling my dad that I was going to be a motorcycle mechanic when I grow up. And he kind of looked at me and was just like, absolutely not. He said, you're really good at math. You're good at science. He was like, I was never good at math or science. He was like, I was never good at school, and you're good at school. So you should go find something better to do, basically is what he told me. And not that there's anything wrong with being a mechanic. I guess he just wanted me to go into a career that I wouldn't have to work really hard at, is kind of the way that he described it to me. And so I thought, okay, well, if you don't want me to fix motorcycles, well, then I will build them. And at 12 years old, I had no idea what it meant to build a motorcycle. But as I got older, it led me down this path of engineering. And throughout high school, I got into weightlifting because I guess my friends were doing it. It was kind of the cool thing to do, I guess. Then I kind of discovered like, oh, this is really cool. And it makes me feel really good about myself. And people are complimenting me on how much I can deadlift or how big my shoulder muscles are, and just kind of like weird things like that you wouldn't think somebody would compliment on you. But when they did, it was like, wow, that's cool. When I look in the mirror, I don't see that. And weightlifting and exercise really carried me through college and helped me get through engineering school. Even after engineering school, every time I was kind of at a low point in my life where I was either unhappy with my job or unhappy with whatever was going on in life, starting to exercise always kind of brought me back and helped me ground myself, do something that I felt proud of or that made me feel really good, and kind of change that mindset and flip the script. And probably about 5 years back, I had a friend. She was at a low point in her life. She started doing Beachbody on demand. She was selling the Beachbody on demand subscriptions, and she kind of reeled me in. I was at a low point in my life as well. I had a bad relationship, didn't really enjoy my job, and just kind of was feeling like, gosh, is this it? Like, there has to be more to life than this. And she said that she had found herself or found her way out of a bad place by doing Beachbody On Demand and joining their programs and doing the workouts every morning and reading the personal development books and kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid, as most people would explain it. So at that point I said, sure, sign me up. I will do anything that I can to just feel better and to be happy with where I'm at in life and to feel good about myself again. And so I did that and it worked. I started to feel happier and was like, wow, like I feel really good about myself. And I lifted a lot of weight today. And with Beachbody On Demand, their whole platform was that they were one-stop shops. So there was nutrition advice, there was exercise videos, there was personal wellness or personal development sprinkled in to all the workouts, where they would talk about affirmations and a positive mindset and on and on. And so I said, okay, well, sure, I'll sign up and I'll try to sell these memberships too. It helped me. I'm sure that I can help other people. And they kept saying, find your niche, find your niche, find your niche. And I was like, well, my niche and all the people that I want to associate with are motorsports people. Like, I want a community of women motorcyclers. At the time, I knew that I wanted to tie the two of them together with health and wellness and motorcycling, which is one of my favorite things in the world. I just couldn't figure out how. And kind of this type of idea has been in the back of my mind for a really long time, because every time that there was a low point in my life, motorcycles and health and wellness have been what's brought me back, have gotten me through that tough time, have helped me feel good about myself. And as I've really transformed in the motorcycle world and grown, I've noticed so much how my experience changed when my mindset changed. I've been riding about 11 years now. This is going into my 11th riding season. And I started out street riding. I had a group of friends that rode sport bikes all around Lincoln, Nebraska. So obviously I wanted a sport bike. First bike, wrecked it. A couple of months after getting it, bought another sport bike and just was not a very confident rider. Then I bought a Z125 because all of my sport bike friends were buying Groms and they wanted to learn how to stunt. So naturally I followed the pack and said, I want to learn how to stunt too. We would ride around town in big groups, and we'd ride on bicycle trails and all kinds of places that we weren't supposed to be, and through neighborhoods at 35 miles an hour. But they were always so much faster riders than I was, that being on that Z125, it kind of put us all on level playing fields where I could finally keep up with the group. And even me trying to keep up with the group pushed me way outside my comfort zone, because even though all of our bikes were the same speed and I was comfortable going 35 miles an hour, they were taking corners way faster than I was, and they were braking way later than I was. So it really pushed me out of my comfort zone in those areas, where I became a lot more confident street rider. And shortly after that, I had always kind of wanted to be a motorcycle racer. I remember being a kid and saying, I want to be a motorcycle racer. And so I learned about track days, and I started doing a couple of track days and loved it. So I did more track days and more track days, but I never really created a community around track days, and none of my street riding friends went to the track. And after the first or the second season that I was doing track days, the people that introduced me to the track had stopped going. And so I was kind of just there by myself, which was okay for a while, but I didn't think that it was as fun as if I had a group. So I kind of stopped doing track days for a couple of years. And I thought, well, maybe I'll try dirt bikes and I'll find some other dirt bike girls or dirt bike people. I had a bunch of friends that were into off-roading and Jeeps and four-wheeling at the time. And one or two of them had dirt bikes. And I thought, well, this would be fun. We could all ride dirt bikes together. So in my late 20s, I got a dirt bike. At that point in time, I had probably been riding for 6 or 8 years. And dirt biking was scary. I still have a dirt bike. I ride a KLX 140, a Kawasaki. That's kind of considered a kid's bike, but the speed is very good for me. So I don't mind that it's considered a kid's bike. But yeah, even 4 years later, I am very new to dirt bikes still and very uncomfortable on a dirt bike, but it has helped me grow. I learn something new every time I ride that dirt bike, so it's great for me. The dirt biking thing didn't take off the way that I thought it would, and so I started going back to the racetrack and doing track days again. And this time kind of with a new outlook and with a new mindset. The last couple track days that I had done before this, I had not enjoyed myself, and so I said, I'm going to go to the track and I'm going to have a great time where I'm going to sell my motorcycle and be done with track days. And I went and I found another girl. She was there watching her boyfriend, and she thought it was so cool that I was riding and that I was there by myself and out on the track, that she started talking to me. And I hung out with her for the whole day and we had a great time. And then at the end of the day, I ended up meeting another girl and her boyfriend. That other girl was there also at the track riding, and she lived fairly close to me. And so I got to be friends with her, and it kind of changed my whole outlook on track days, where I was like, oh, well, this could be really fun if there was other people that I was here hanging out with at the track. And so I said, okay, I'm going to keep my bike and I'm going to keep doing track days. And then I kind of grew from there, where the next year I was meeting more people and making more friends and really enjoying going to the track. But I still kind of wanted more. So I did the track day thing and wanted to get faster, but I kept saying, why am I not fast enough? Or why am I not progressing? And I was getting frustrated when people were giving me advice. And I had been telling myself for years that I wanted to go road racing and I wanted to actually sign up for a race, but I couldn't because I wasn't fast enough. And so Royal Enfield, they have this program called Build Train Race, and it's a motorcycle racing program for women specifically. It started out, it was to help get more women into the sport and to help women improve their riding skills. And now it's kind of grown from that, where the people in the program or the women in the program are more seasoned racers and have more race experience. I had applied for that back when it was a new program and a lot of the women didn't have very much racing experience. And I thought, well, like, okay, I could get into this program and that would be my big break to get into motorcycle racing. And I would be with other new to racing riders that are maybe more my speed. And I didn't get into the program. I got interviewed, was not selected. And something clicked in my brain at that moment. I had built up so much excitement about being accepted into this program before I had been accepted that when it didn't happen, I was really disappointed. And it kind of like lit a fire under me to say, I don't need this program to start racing. And so I did my research and decided that I was going to get a vintage motorcycle and race in this novice vintage class because I thought that I would be riding with other slower riders. And it turned out that that was not the case. That first year of vintage racing was kind of a disaster for me, but I learned a lot about myself. I progressed a little bit as a rider, not nearly as much as I had hoped to, but what I learned about myself was so valuable that it kept me in racing. It's helped me progress a lot more than I ever thought that I would from a mental side of it. And that mental side of it kind of compelled me to, okay, I'm going to get a modern bike. I'm going to get a bike that I'm more comfortable on. And I'm going to go back to the basics and relearn track riding so that I can become a faster racer. I'm going into my third race season, my second race season on a modern sport bike. I race a Yamaha R3. And I'm so excited about where my mind is at and all the things that I've learned about myself and been able to reflect back about how my mental and physical health has improved my riding experience. And even my street riding experiences have changed a little bit, where the safety aspect of being at the track has kind of changed my mindset about safety on the street. And as I've grown and progressed, I keep thinking, it would be so cool to see more women on the race grids. It would be so cool to see more women at track days. It would be really cool to have a group of like-minded women to street ride with. And it's kind of all led me to this place where I am right now, creating this podcast, because there are so many women that I've talked to here recently that they're interested in motorcycles, but there's some sort of, there's something holding them back where they're not ready to take the leap. Or they have a motorcycle, but they don't ride very often because they don't have someone else to ride with, or they're not confident riding on their own, so they have to wait for a boyfriend or a dad or a brother to come and ride with them. And I've had lots of those women say how cool it is or how encouraging it is to see me racing. And it's kind of brought this whole big picture together where I can combine my experiences and my personal growth over the last few years to help other women grow and develop their riding skills as well, and kind of create a community. So I guess that's where this podcast was stemmed from and invented from. And as we get into future episodes, we're going to get more into the meat and potatoes of certain types of mindsets and how that directly relates to your motorcycle skills, how that directly relates to becoming a better rider, or finding that limiting belief and breaking down that limiting belief so you do feel like you can take the next step in your motorcycle journey, and that you can help find yourself a community of women that you can ride with and connect with. And together we can make this huge community where women are empowered and having a great experience in the male-dominated world of motorcycling. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to having you guys on this journey with me, and I look forward to future podcast episodes where we'll dive deeper and get into this. So again, thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. I would love to have lots of females following and listening and asking questions along the way. So thank you again for being here.